Welcome everybody to this final session celebrating International Coaching Week and wrapping up our series of author interviews. We've had some amazing interviews this week. It's been fantastic. The insights that have been shared, the pearls of wisdom, the little gems that everyone has been generously sharing, and all our fabulous authors and creators have given us a real insight into their different approaches, their all the things that have worked for them. And I'm sure, like me, you've got notebooks full of ideas and notes from all the different interviews. And if you're joining us partway through the week or towards the end of the week, and you have missed some of the sessions, then do go back and check some of the recordings. We are live in Facebook as well as on Zoom right now, and all the previous lives are there for you to look at in the Facebook group, and the video recordings will be available for you shortly as well. So do check out the sessions if you've missed any of the sessions during the week. But for now, sit back and relax. We have got a lovely session to round off our week, and I am delighted to be joined by the fabulous Jenny Rowlands to round off our week. We are definitely crowning the week with the cherry on the cake today.
Oh dear.
I, I am Nikki Wild. I am Head of Education here at the IAPC&M, and it is my pleasure to host this final session. Jenny is one of our accredited professional coaches. She's a master coach accredited with us, and also she delivers a level 4 training, which is also accredited by the IAPC&M, in a diploma in mindfulness, because Jenny's speciality is all things spirituality and mindfulness. She's a speaker and trainer, incredibly experienced in this field. Also a yoga trainer, which we might hear a little bit more about if we go down that route later. And the thing that I'm particularly excited about is that Jenny is going to be talking to us about her mindfulness cards. And I'm really interested to hear a little bit about how they came about. And also, so just try and spotlight us all so you can see everybody. There we go. So a little bit about the cards, how they came about, and also in the context of this week of being creators and authors, a little bit of the background, the behind the scenes as to how they came about. So Jenny, welcome. Thank you so much. I will keep an eye on the chat box here in Zoom to see what questions come up. So ladies and gentlemen, please do use the chat if you want to as we go through. And we've got about half an hour or so of conversation, this interview session, and then we are going to wrap up. We're really privileged because Jenny is going to lead us in a meditation after our interview to bring together everything that you have accumulated over the course of the last week and to round off International Coaching Week for us. So Jenny, welcome. Delighted to have you with us. Given that this has been a week about creativity and ideas, I'm curious to know, is this something that the creative process for you, is it something that came naturally, or did it come about by accident, or was it a decision that you sort of consciously made that this was something you wanted, a route you wanted to go down?
It was very natural, Nikki. Oh, and thank you for the glowing introduction, by the way. It's a level 4 diploma in mindfulness life coaching that I deliver, which is accredited by IAPC&M. And during the course, you'll be working with the cards that I'm talking about today. So yeah, it was a natural process, Nikki. It was very organic. And it's something that I would say is based on my life work, because it wasn't just an idea that came to me. It was an idea that I had many years ago, probably over 20 years ago. And I couldn't put it into any kind of formulation at the time. But the minute I started working through spirit and working more, what should I say, working with mindfulness, then the idea started to evolve and come together.
So if that was a sort of, it had been sitting bubbling away in the background until you started the work that you're doing now, how long did it take to come into something that had a physical form, as opposed to just a sort of an idea that had been sitting in the background?
Well, as I said, it's my life's work. So I suppose I ought to start by saying that at the age of 13, I began working with tarot cards. Probably not the best thing to be working with at the age of 13. But I'd asked my parents for a crystal ball on my 13th birthday, and I got a pack of tarot cards instead. And I started working with them, and I was absolutely amazed at the higher intelligence of these cards, the accuracy. And I love the symbolic images and references of those cards. So that was always there at the back of my mind. And since then, I've been working with cards in my coaching business, in my teaching practice and as a trainer. And I just find them a really powerful tool to work with. But I would say that in 2016, I experienced a huge awakening. It was so powerful, but at that time I was practicing mindfulness quite significantly on a daily basis in tandem with yoga, and I'd gone to India following that experience as well to become a yoga teacher. So I'd had this huge awakening in 2016, and that's when the idea started to evolve more fully. I just suddenly knew that these cards needed to be based on the awakening that I'd had, because every card represents a theme of a fulfilling life. So therefore, I came up with the idea of 26 fulfilling themes of life. And that's how it grew from there, essentially. Each image, I mean, it didn't come to me in one whole piece. You know, I didn't suddenly see 26 cards in front of me. I worked on them individually, but before each card evolved, I undertook meditation and a meditation process. And through the meditation, the symbols arose into my conscious mind, and I saw the image, I saw the theme. So that's basically how I created the vision, so to speak.
It's been a really interesting point throughout the interviews this week as to what different people's start point or trigger has been. And some people have said they keep getting asked the same question by their audience, so they've kind of started with answering a question. Some people have said that they were meeting a need, that they recognized that somebody needed to sort of respond to a particular group in a certain way. And your trigger has been, as you say, this culmination of your life work, that it was that bringing together all of that into something physical, but it was an obvious thing to create. It wasn't something that you just sat there and thought, I fancy being an author of something, what shall I come up with? It was something that was
just
obvious
like that.
there, right in front of you. And one of the things I've been asking all of our audiences through some of the lives is to just have that moment of pause. And maybe this is something that comes up later through the meditation as well, is just pause and notice, what is that thing that is right in front of you, that's staring you in the face, that says, this is the thing you're supposed to get out to the world. I'm curious, when you had this at the concept stage, sort of 5-6 years ago, did you have any doubts or sort of things that you had to overcome, or did it just seem so obvious that there was nothing going to stop you?
No, it's strange that, because I always knew that I would have a book at some stage and my own brand of cards, but I just didn't know how it would come together. And as I said, that was like 20 years ago, because I love working with cards, and I saw the value in working with cards with individuals and using them for coaching. So I guess going back then, there was a huge block, because I would sit at the computer and try to think of a card or put together a card, and it just didn't come together. So the answer for me was the transformational journey that I had. It's almost like I went through a period of huge transformation during this kind of year of awakening. I was doing all sorts of things. I was having coaching as well, but it was almost, I don't know if you've heard of the hero's journey. But I truly went on the hero's journey, came back with a gift, and the gift was what I had to share with the world through my own experience, through my own narrative, really, and the way that I saw that. And I guess every author has something to share with the world. It's a gift of some sort, whether it's a story, a novel, or a true life experience. And that's how it worked for me. I tested the cards out, and they now will be the research for my book, which is at the moment a work in progress. So I hope that answers your question. But no, I think if you try to force something, I mean, you know, we all get ideas, but I mean, it's nice to write a book, but I guess you have to be really clear, don't you, in knowing what it is that you have to share, and why it's valuable of what you're sharing. And some people just have a creative gift in writing anyway. But that's how it worked for me. And it was just a very organic process in the end. It's almost like something in my body changed and allowed this process to come together. It was almost like an allowance, it's almost like something that I embedded into the body, into the mind.
And I know you've got a set of your cards there to show us. We have show and tell.
And I know I've got some people here who've used these cards. So do you feel that you can put something in the chat box to share how they've worked for you? Because everybody has a very different experience of these cards. Now, I've got the cards here. I did draw a card before. No, I can't find it. Ah, there it is. I did draw a card, because I always draw a card before I work with groups, individuals, when I deliver my sessions. The card that's come up, it's got that lovely angel on, with that flaming torch, and the card is truth. Mm-hmm. The card is truth. This is hugely significant to me because, again, it's one of the I would say integral themes of my life, was to find my own truth. You know, not to follow what others tell me is true. And I've had a lot of experience of that, looking for truth. But when I was younger, I guess I was looking to others to clarify what truth was. And then I realized one day, hang on, this is about my truth, living my truth. And this is what it is. And when it comes up for individuals, it can represent challenges in previously understanding or knowing one's truth, if that makes sense. So this is really ultimately about following the light and just looking to the light.
Lovely. All the images are so beautiful on the cards. They're beautiful illustrations on the cards. I know we've got the photograph on the slide on the screen doesn't do them justice, I don't think, but it gives people an indication of what they look like. On a practical note, we've talked about publishing from a book, and I love that there is a book in progress. So that's a lovely tease for everybody that they can keep an eye on the book when it comes into production. I'm curious, from the cards point of view, did you go down a sort of self-production, self-publication sort of route for that, or did you find a company that could produce them for you?
I did. Well, I found a production company first. And I gave them the image, or an idea of what that image might be, and the theme, and they put the construct together for me. And sometimes it just didn't work. I said, no, that's not the right image, and it went back 3 or 4 times before I got it right, because I'd already seen the image in my meditation, so I knew what that was. I was very specific about this card because I knew it, but there was an angel here with that flame, with that torch. So I went to a production company and they gave me all the proofs. And now I have a printers, and I just go directly to them. I let them know how many packs I need. And obviously the more, the the more you buy, the cheaper they are. And they're quite exclusive. I use them. I give them out to trainees who undertake my level 4 diploma course in mindfulness life coaching. I have been, it has been said to me to sell them on Amazon, but I'm not feeling that. I like the fact that they're quite exclusive.
Yes, and also they're part of your program. So it's not just
Yeah,
having the cards in their own right. It's knowing the different ways to use them, how to incorporate them into the coaching. So it's part of that diploma that you teach. So which I suppose kind of brings us on to that thinking about what difference does it make having something in addition to your training and your coaching program. So you've actually got something physical that you can give to your clients.
yeah.
That's something a bit different, something a bit more, and like you say, it's very exclusive, which obviously has a scarcity value as well.
Yeah. So what difference does it make? Is that the question,
Yes,
Nikki?
yes, having that as part of what you offer. So in addition to your coaching and your training, you've got a physical product as well.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I mean, the best thing to do is to ask those who've done my course, because I think there's a few of them here today. But what I would say personally, I had one student actually who used them daily, and he found them an incredibly powerful tool for his mindfulness practice, because he would draw a card and that would give him the intention for the day. And it kept him focused. He said it gave him a sense of calmness. So I guess that there are multiple purposes to these cards, and I use them in very different ways. But at the end of coaching, they can be used in an affirmative sense, in helping somebody to consider the way forward. They are always accurate. People say, I mean, they're just amazed at how accurate they are. And they can be used at the beginning of coaching also to help set the theme. And it puts things into some sort of narrative, some sort of construct, because, you know, right from time began, we've been working with symbolic images since cavemen, you know, since the cave age, when you know, we have pictures of symbols and all sorts in the cave. So it helps the right brain as well. So if you think about coaching, coaching can be a conversational practice. For many coaches, that's what it is. It's a conversation, an action-based focused conversation. However, what the cards do is it helps to balance that left and right brain process of having that analytical mind and that problem-solving mind in process, but along with the right side brain, which is our intuitive, our inner guidance, our sense, the subconscious. So these cards work with the subconscious mind. And I would go even further than that to say that, you know, they're spirit guided. There is something about the energy of the cards. They carry a lovely, warm, vibrational energy that just gives us a gentle nudge in giving us the message that we need at that time. And that is essentially how I use them.
Lovely, thank you. And we've got a couple of comments in the chat from a couple of
Yeah.
your students are joining us, which is lovely, and explaining that they use the cards, they find inspiration from using them.
Yeah.
Do those who've completed your diploma, do they go on to use the cards with their clients as part of their coaching, or is
Yeah,
it
I mean,
for their personal use?
that's the idea, really, that they go on to use them as a tool. And I encourage them to use them all the way through the training. So on themselves and with the client. And I'll give you an example of that. Before I meet with clients, I always draw a card first, before I've even met them. And just to give me some kind of idea about what might be the theme, what might be the link. And it's never been wrong. It's never been wrong. It's always given me some sort of guidance. And I'd encourage the client to draw a card as well. And then I often share with them, as we go through the process, the card that I initially took, and there is always a link there. Nice. So yeah, I do encourage students to use them, and I know that they continue to use them, those that have completed the journey and started coaching. I can use them in therapy as well. Not as much, but you know, they are still quite powerful to use in the therapeutic process. I mean, they are quite therapeutic anyway.
And one of the things, because the reason I was curious is about that point of difference. So with my business coaching head on, and some of the work that we do with through the Business of Coaching and Mentoring program, which is one of the member benefits for the IAPC&M accredited coaches and mentors, is thinking about what sets us apart. If you are swimming in a sea of life coaches, how do your clients recognize you as having that point of difference, that thing that's a little bit different? And having something physical like a book, or in this case having the cards, that allows you to say to potential clients, yes, you can just have a life coaching conversation with any number of life coaches, or you can work with me because I've got this extra thing that has a particular emphasis or a particular focus. And it draws to us the clients who have that resonance with the thing that we are talking to them about, rather than them having to just choose us from any number of unified coaches. And so it has a commercial benefit as well as that spiritual benefit you've been talking about. You've got benefits on multiple layers, haven't you?
Absolutely there, Nikki. I mean, it's a brand. It's always going to be of huge value to have a brand behind the name of the business, because I guess that there's a saturated market these days in the world of coaching. So it's important to have that USP. And it's certainly given me a brand. And I would honestly say that it has definitely upscaled my business, because those who are drawn to the course are drawn through these cards. Usually practitioners, holistic practitioners, yoga teachers. I've had therapists do my courses, people working in the NHS, nurses, teachers, all sorts. But usually those who are spiritually inclined, who love working with oracle cards, maybe got an interest in tarot, or you know, those sort of practices. But it is usually based on that notion. So anybody that comes to my course is drawn through that.
Fantastic.
That modality, I guess, is the word.
So one of the questions I've been asking this week is, what advice would you give to somebody who is just starting out? So whether it is creating a physical product like the cards, or whether it's starting writing a book, given that you're partway through your authoring process as well, you've probably got insights from both aspects. What would you say to some of our new coaches or newly aspiring authors and creators? What would you say to them?
I would say, get to know yourself. Know yourself and know your authentic self. Because I think it ties in with the theme, and this is why the cards want us to sort of focus around this. The theme is this is about authenticity, knowing one's truth. And what is one's truth? You know, we all have multiple truths embedded within us, perhaps. You know, we live in a diverse world. So in order to have to write a book, whatever it is, or produce oracle cards, I think you have to really know yourself and be confident in that sense of self, that authentic sense of self. That's the only way, I think, of getting it right. Never mind what other people tell you ought to write about, or you know what you're good at. Just know what you're good at yourself and what your strengths are.
definitely would agree with that. Um, I think you're absolutely right about that authenticity. Each of us will have, even if we're all talking about the same subject, we will each have our own perspective on that subject and our own authentic truth to speak. And our own audiences, we all work with different niches, different audiences, different types of clients, and the
Yeah,
way we communicate with them is going to be different. So there's none of
yeah,
us can be each other, we can only be ourselves. So finding that authentic voice where we get our message heard to our audience, that is the way forward, isn't it? It's not, there's no point me trying to speak to Jenny's audience or Lydia's or Petra's
no,
audience. I need to speak to Nikki's audience in the way that
yeah.
audience is used to hearing.
Yeah, because, you know, if we go to a doctor and that doctor isn't confident in their prescription or medicine or diagnosis, we're not going to have much confidence in them, are we? I used to sit on the fence, so to speak, because I've come from a statutory professional background in social work. Obviously, it's a government-led role, it's a regulated profession, and we you know, there isn't that much autonomy in that respect. You know, we are governed by law and policy. So I used to sit on the fence because I thought, oh yes, I'm this professional social worker and I'm also this spiritual teacher, and how do I make them, you know, blend? And I used to be a little bit worried because you know, some people might find this a bit woo-woo, a bit over the top, a bit flowery, you know. But I just don't care anymore because I know that it works. I know that it's powerful. And my students would tell you, the students who've done my courses will tell you exactly the same thing. Some of them here today. So I don't need any more proof than that. I don't need to sit on the fence with it. And again, it is about my truth. So if we're going to believe in something, believe in it wholeheartedly, not half-heartedly, and try to fit into these other multiple boxes. So yeah, even, you know, I'm still a independent social worker, and I'm still involved in teaching newly qualified social workers as well. I'm pretty honest with them about what I believe in, and it's something that I wouldn't have been so honest about maybe even 10 years ago. And I think that's part of the progress, is just becoming stronger in one's sense of self and that internal evaluation of oneself, that we can heavily rely on others. And of course it's important to have feedback, of course it is, but if people don't want to if people are not interested in my model or brand or way of teaching, then that's fine. Yeah, then
There are
they won't
some
do the
people that
course.
we send them away with our blessing because it's either not the right time or it's just not the
Yeah,
right fit for them right now, and that frees up the space for those for whom it is the right time, it is the right space for them. um, and I loved what you said earlier on about know yourself, know your authentic self. And sometimes it is a timing thing. Sometimes we're not ready to put the message out because we haven't got to that place of confidence to be able to stand in our own perspective, our own view on things.
yeah, yeah,
And it sometimes it takes a little while for that confidence to get to the right level to say, you know what, actually it is okay to share this message that I am on this planet to share.
yes,
This is my moment to find my voice, whether that voice is in printed form, physical books, digital books, beautiful cards, whatever form that
mm,
message
mm,
takes. There is a reason that we are all here on this planet, and sometimes it takes
yeah,
a little while to get to that point where we can speak out. I'm keeping an eye
it does,
on the
yeah,
chat to see what
mm,
questions our audience would like to
yeah,
ask. We've got a couple of minutes
please do, yeah, yeah.
so please do ask your burning question. We've got one person who has asked, Paul has asked, are you able to share the working title of your book? It may not be at that point that you can share the working title, but he's curious to know.
Well, I mean, the book is based on the model of mindfulness life coaching. And the model that I work with, I don't know whether to share that at this point until it's at, those people who've done my course, they know what the model is. It's an acronym like the GROW model, but it's not the GROW model. Obviously, it's a model.
We'll have to get the book and find out.
You'll have to get the book and find out, but it's based on. I mean, the cards are my research, part of that research for the book. That's the reason the cards came before the book, because the cards inform the book, so to speak. But yes, it's on the model itself of coaching, which is, there's a lot of Jungian psychology integrated within the model. It's an integrated holistic model, but it is purely based on mind, body, spirit as one. So yeah, I can't share the title of the book. I think I do know what the title of the book is, but it will be, or it might just be, the mindfulness model of life coaching.
We will wait and see. It's lovely to have that carrot dangled, and we can keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, and the thing is, you've got to write the book before you come up with the title, not the other way around, because the title can stifle you in writing the book, because sometimes it doesn't all come together until you've got all your chapters there.
Yeah. And that's another excellent tip to our aspiring authors for this series this week, is write the book first and then let the title come out of what you've created, rather than constraining yourself before you even started. So excellent tip there.
Yeah, this is it.
I'm curious, given that this is kind of, you said that the cards are informing the book. Do you get the sense that this is kind of a project in its own right, or do you think this is going to open the door to future books, more authoring later on? Where do you think this might lead you?
I think there will definitely be a series of books. I think I've just got to get the pure model out there first. I mean, I don't know whether you've heard of the ACT model, the acceptance and commitment therapy model, which is like a combination. It was by Dr. Russ Harris, the Happiness Trap book, and it's a combination of mindfulness and kind of CBT work. Coaches and therapists use it. It's a bit like that, you've got to once you get the model, you can then expand on a whole series of topics. So yeah, I think everything we do is research. I think for me, it's all research. All of my practice is research based, because it informs and develops me as a practitioner.
And another practical question: are you writing the book solo, or are you using a book coach or co-writing with somebody?
Oh, right, yes, Author House. I've already got a contract with them, actually, and they are very encouraging. So the book will be published through Author House, and you get, an editing service with that. The reason I went down that route is because it's incredibly difficult, I've been told, to get your first book out there unless you find an agent who is thoroughly inspired and in alignment with what your message is. So I think I'm sure that a lot of well-known publishers today have taken that route with the self-publishing first, because then once you've got your book, you've got something, you've got a product then that you can showcase, and you can show people what you're made of. So that's why I went down that road, and they've been incredibly supportive on this journey, very encouraging.
How did you find them in the first place? Did you go looking for them? Did you,
well, again,
is it just go Google and find a publishing house? Or?
Well, the thing is, I mean, this is another interesting question you asked there, Nikki, because it was just an organic process. They found me. And it's really quite peculiar, but this is just how my life works. You just trust in spirit, work with spirit, and allow that spirit. And when I say what I mean by spirit is that higher self, that part of us that knows what our highest will and good is, and sole purpose. So it's just that one day it popped up in the email box and I thought, oh, this is it. This is the opportunity. So I didn't go rooting around. And I guess that's how everything happens in my life, is the opportunities come to me when I allow it in my body, when I haven't got any energy blocks, because it's all about, you know, if we've got a block there, any resistance, any lack of confidence. I mean, we all get imposter syndrome. That's very, very common. But it's, you know, when we don't really believe that something's possible, we're going to block that process every step of the way. So the minute I'm kind of ready, something just presents itself to me. And that's how when I just think, okay, this is a sign, this is spirit working. So they you know, they contacted me and I spoke to this guy and it felt right, you know, and I felt in complete alignment with this guy as we were talking on the phone, and there it was. So yeah, as I said, I've started the book and I keep thinking, do I want to finish it now? Because I'm still learning new stuff that I think could go in the book.
That's a really good question, isn't it? At what point is the book finished, and is it,
at what point
is that actually the next idea? Is that actually the start of the next book, as opposed to the end of the current book?
Well, that's it. You know, this is what Dawn Campbell has said to me. Just get there, because she's got lots of books, and she said, you just get it out there, and you can always do another book. And she's right. So I think my deadline is this year, and that's it. I'm not giving myself any more time after this year. I'm saying it's got to get out there this year. Doesn't matter how small, how thin it is. It's just you know, the first book, and that's all that matters. And the smaller books are much easier, much more digestible, aren't they? And they tend to be more popular anyway these days.
And a book series, a small digestible series, rather than a great big thick tome that feels like a big hefty thing to commit to. Certainly in our current climate, where we're told that people's attention spans are shorter than they used to be, and we're definitely having smaller bite-sized consumption rather than great big hefty things. But I love this idea to be able to say, I'm writing my first book. I love that intention of it's the first of more than one.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm right. That's it. Yeah.
I think we've covered all the questions that were lurking in the chat box. I did have a quick skim through. There's some lovely comments saying from people who've used the cards already, who are saying how much they've enjoyed using them and how beneficial they have found them. I'm going to invite you, Jenny, to take us through a nice exercise, a meditation exercise, to wrap up our week. We've had so many ideas. I'm going to stop the sharing so we can have share the screen, have you on the screen, and we've had so many ideas, thoughts, insights, pearls of wisdom, all of that stuff. I'm sure everybody like me is full of ideas and things, and all that mind chatter is going on. So I wonder if I can invite you to take us through a time of meditation as we wrap up this week, and just to have something of personal benefit to all of our fabulous audience who've been with us all week.
Absolutely. It would be my privilege. Okay. So I just invite you all at this moment just to bring yourself into a state of pure presence. Just allow yourself to be in this moment. And just get yourself very comfortable. Just being comfortable in your skin, not just in your physical position, but just find that place inside, that place of loving compassion within you. And just check your posture, allowing the shoulders to move away from your ears, a nice long neck, and just relax every bone and muscle inside of your body. If you can, place the soles of your feet onto the ground beneath you and just make that lovely connection with Mother Earth. And just allowing her to just take all the weight from you and all the cares. And now take some nice, deep cleansing breaths in and out, ensuring that your out breath is longer than your in breath. So drawing in for 3 and out for 6. Counting in for 3 and out for 6. Finding your natural breath and the rhythm of that breath. Just indulge in that breath. Just be mindful of the sensation of the breath as it flows into and throughout your body. Breathing into the belly, maybe placing the hand over the solar plexus, around the belly, just ensuring that you are breathing naturally. And with each breath that you take, allow yourself to relax more deeply and allow that breath to sweep away all of the toxins, all of the cares, all of the worries, anything that you might be holding that no longer serves you. Just let it all go, let it all flow down into the arms of Mother Earth. And allow those two energies to merge now. The energy rising up through your feet from Mother Earth and the breath. Just allow them to merge inside and expand throughout. Breathing into all those spaces deep within. Now draw down the light and wisdom from above as it showers down upon you and through you like liquid golden lava. Allow that light just to pour through you and around you, forming a dome of love and protection, bringing you into your place of safety and deep calmness. Now go to your sacred place, wherever this is, a place in nature, a place where you are content and loved. Just take yourself to this place now. Observe what is around you. The colours, the sensations, all of the nature spirits guiding you forward. There is no place for the analytical mind here. This is a place of pure being, where you are in alignment with your true, authentic, and higher self. In front of you, you will notice a violet flame flickering and inviting you to come closer. As you walk towards this violet flame, you will come closer to your higher self. Walk towards the violet flame and embrace from that the sacred wisdom that it has to offer you. You can find your higher self there, standing by the flame. Say hello to your higher self. Even if you cannot see them visually, know that they are there, greeting you and meeting you, and welcoming you with a message. You may sense them in your body rather than see them visually. Just get a sense of who they are and the advice they have to give you. Ask them a question. This might be a question about your inspiration to create something new. This might be a question about your path going forwards. Just allow them to give you a message and take from them a gift that they wish to give you. And this gift will symbolize your true path going forwards. And before you come back into your physical space, allow your higher self to merge within and anchor their presence within your body, embedding all of the knowledge and wisdom and truth that you need for your own fulfillment. Embed that higher self into the heart, allowing the heart to expand as you embrace them. And now take a nice deep breath in and out. And come back gently into your physical space. Stretching your fingers and toes. And coming back into the room. bringing awareness back to where you are. Maybe taking a nice stretch, stretching out the arms. And just scooping up all that wonderful positive energy into the heart. So I feel a real stillness. I hope everyone's able to come back. Nobody's nodded off. It has happened.
It's okay. If people are having a little snooze, that's okay
Yeah.
as well.
No, it is okay. Of course it's okay.
Thank you ever so much, Jenny. That was a beautiful way to bring our week to a conclusion. Whilst we are all in this beautiful, calm state, for those who would like to keep in touch with you, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you or keep in touch with you? I know your business is the Centre for Mindfulness, so they will be able to find you through the Centre for Mindfulness. What's the best way for everyone to keep in touch with you?
I guess through, I think I know people here, so they already know. But there's people on Facebook Live, isn't there? Just check me out, Jenny Rowlands at the Centre for Mindfulness, and if you're local, it should come up. But if you Google my name in, I can put it in the chat box. Shall I?
Yes, and for those who are watching the recordings back later, obviously you won't have the chat box, but do look for
that's
Jenny.
the point. But
Jenny
it is Jenny Rowlands, the Centre for Mindfulness. And I don't think there is another company under that name. So
certainly
as long as you type in the Centre for Mindfulness and not the Mindfulness Centre, you will find me. And on the homepage, you'll see that lovely image of people doing yoga in prayer pose. So
beautiful.
But
so we'll know we found the right phone.
Yeah, wonderful. But I guess you can also locate me on the Life Coach directory as well. If you go into Life Coach directory and search Life Coaches, if you put my name in, Jenny Rowlands, spelled Rowlands, then I'll come up there, and I'm also listed on your page, Nikki, on the IAPC&M.
Yeah, so if in doubt, contact us at the IAPC&M, and one of the leadership team will also be able to connect you with Jenny if you really can't find us, can't find Jenny through other routes. Thank you ever so much. Before everybody rushes off to the rest of their day, as we have done with all of these sessions, now is probably a good moment for people to just take a moment to jot down what are their takeaways from this session. We've been accumulating our continuous professional development logs all week, and there have been some fantastic nuggets that I'm sure everyone has taken away from all of the sessions, and this one absolutely no different. So take a moment for wherever it is in your notes, or if you are updating your CPD log, wherever you are recording those notes, make a note of this session. What are your takeaways? And of course, as coaches, we love a bit of action. So what are you going to do with what you have taken away from today? I wrote down my 3 little headlines from everything that we've had in this conversation with Jenny. What's the obvious thing? What's the obvious thing that's been sitting with you that perhaps has been niggling away as your thing to get out in the world? What is the obvious start point for you? I've also written down, don't force it. Let it come naturally. From that beautiful meditation we've just had, it maybe there is something speaking to you through that's just coming up naturally. That's a little nudge or a little prompt in a particular direction. And know your authentic self and your authentic truth. Speak as you, not somebody else. So those are my sort of, and the 4th one was write the book first, then let the title come. So that was my bonus thing. So I've written those. Those were the key points I wrote down on my notes. Is there anything before I wrap up the week with the final? I'm going to remind people of the lucky dips. Before I do that, are there any last things that you want us to you want to share, Jenny, just as a final summary to take away?
I don't know, but it's so lovely to read the comments here. With tears so very still, was reluctant to come back from the meditation. Lovely. Oh dear. Thanks, Colette. It's great to hear. And
the beautiful thing, of course, Colette, you can go back and watch the recording and have it all again anytime you like. It is there at your fingertips.
Yeah,
there were some beautiful comments in the chat. So whilst people are just finishing off and updating their logs, I'm just going to remind everybody that, of course, what we have from International Coaching Week, hopefully that is screen sharing. Can you see a Lucky Dip bonuses screen now?
Oh yeah.
Screen, excellent.
It's like the lottery.
It is. It's really exciting. So for those who are either renewing or taking their accreditation in May, so those who are paying in May, we've got a whole bunch, a phenomenal bunch of Lucky Dip bonuses. The founder of International Coaching Week, Jerry Udelson, who we have interviewed many times now, is a friend of IAPC&M, is offering a 60-minute coaching session on the book writing process, which is fantastically exciting. You've got a copy there of the IAPC&M book, How to Win and Keep Clients. We mentioned imposter syndrome earlier on. There's a recording there from Eileen. We've got Mind Over Menopause, small business workshop with Gail. We've got we've got Mindspace with Mac Cattram, who I interviewed on Wednesday, and we've got Peter Thompson is giving 100 copies of his book. So we've got some fantastic giveaways there. Supervision with David, our fabulous David Munro Jones here at IAPC&M. 30-minute supervision session. We've got some Mind Your Mind session and book with Amanda. We've got five places on the Rock Your Visibility program with Ruby. We've got a business building DVD from Gerard, and with me, I am offering a business of coaching and mentoring live masterclass. So we've got a fabulous range of Lucky Dip bonuses for those who are joining us to update their accreditation with IAPC&M during May. So that's the important thing, is take action during May. And I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has been involved with our International Coaching Week sessions this week, for all our fabulous authors and creators who have so generously shared their time and their insights and their wisdom with us. And of course, thank you to all of you who have joined us live for each of the sessions. And for those of you watching the recordings back, thank you again for being part of the sessions. It has been an absolute joy. This week has been such full of energy, enthusiasm, motivation, encouragement, inspiration, so many fantastic moments this week. So thank you all very much. And thank you, Jenny, for joining me and keeping us company. It has been an absolute joy and a privilege to interview you today.
Likewise, lovely to meet you, Nikki. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. It's lovely. So, where are you based? In the.
I'm in the south of England, in Hampshire.
Oh right, yeah. So you've got this lovely weather too.
We are enjoying it. So for our audience, wherever you are in the world, I'm going to stop the recording and cancel our live feed now, and wish you all a fabulous rest of the day, whatever it is you are up to for the rest of the day. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Nikki. Thanks, everyone. Lovely to see you all. See you, some of you soon.